Y'all got to understand, most people are in survival mode, and it's not even by choice. It's because they trying to downsize on everything and cut expenses, mostly like these jobs be doing. The mental toll it has on somebody's life, y'all got to understand, if they already dealing with anxiety, depression, they dealing with their own thing at home, maybe it's a situation they dealing with their parents, you know, when you add on financial stress on top of that, or you just keep adding stress, it's hard to stay motivated for somebody. And that type of deal, it impacts somebody's life. You working long hours, doing all these days, even 6 days a week, all these long hours and barely covering bills. That's why when people hear that, you know, how do you even work 3 jobs? Bro, because these jobs is paying for the bills, you know what I'm saying? And then what I'm doing over here is pocket money. But people shouldn't have to do that is what I'm saying. Then you got this house crisis. Why is rent so high? What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Monty. Welcome to my channel. For those who've been around for a while, you've been here since day one. Appreciate you for tuning in to another video. Y'all know on this channel I talk about life, talk about a lot of things that be on my mind, stuff y'all want me to talk about, the whole nine. And this is gonna be yet another one. Now, why is the cost of living so high nowadays? Like, why is this? Why is this? We all know that finding a job, for most, you know, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. I mean, damn, everywhere you look, companies say that they are, but in reality, they're not. They're not. It's just to get your information at this point. I mean, I even showed y'all proof of me going through the same thing. I've been ghosted before, couple times. I mean, I'm talking about sitting in the interview, talking, saying I got the job, shaking hands, to go home, wait for a background, and do the drug test there, by the way, for them to stop responding. I've been there too. I didn't always have 3 jobs, y'all. That wasn't always a thing. If only y'all knew how much struggle I had to go through to get that. But you know, y'all believe what y'all want, right? This isn't just happening for you, it's happening for millions of people. Jobs aren't hiring, rent is skyrocketing, grocery prices, man, forget about it. Don't even get me started on that. We ain't even finna go there today. We living in a time where, I hate to say it, but working hard don't even guarantee you nothing. I mean, for certain aspects of your life, if you work hard, it does, but it almost seems like for majority, it doesn't even guarantee you'll make it. That's just what it is. And to be real, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And honestly, it feels unfair at times. You know, I know everybody can't have, you know, the best of the best or be okay. It's getting to a point that people have to be at a certain level of poor. Like there has to be somebody got to be broke in order to keep the rich rich. And that's just what it is. Because think about it. Information is key, right? Why do you think rich people charge you for information? They charge you for information that you can look up your damn self. But you want to know why? You too lazy to do it. Yep, I said it. And I'm not saying that to hurt nobody's feelings, but I got so many of y'all wanting me to drop this video about building credit, which I will, but I have to go and look through all of the paperwork that I had to go through because it's different for every corporation. There's S Corp, there's C Corp that you got to sign up for LLCs. You have to find your own EIN code so you can have your own, so that the EIN code is damn near your social security number for your LLC. That's what it is. But all of this information that I took years to look up and research, write down, and apply it to my own, people charge you for that. You do realize that, right? when all the information is out here. You just have to look it up. Now, I'll be honest. Looking for a job, there is a time where I applied to at least, within a month, I applied to at least 67 jobs in a month. In a month. I mean, I customized every resume to the T for every job description, for everyone. Followed up, called whenever I had to. Weeks turned into months, and I still didn't have a job. Much like some of y'all are dealing with right now. I was just thinking about it. It's crazy to say, but I was there at the same time as y'all. I really was. During that time, like it was a lot going on, bro. A lot going on. And the thing is, I know they say it all the time, but you ain't the only one going through stuff. Facts, that's true. I'm just the only one that people see because it's online. And I'm telling y'all, like I done been through that situation before too. Now, why is it so hard to find a job? And to be real, we already know that the job market itself is finito. It's done. But it was this shift that happened. It was a shift. I can't pinpoint on when it happened, but it took a shift. Even when you look up on Indeed, I told y'all before, you put your application in on Indeed, most times there's jobs that pop up that don't even apply to your resume. Why is that? Can we get back to the times when you would get on Indeed and you put your resume up and a list of jobs will pop up for you that you used your resume for? Not me putting in a resume and then jobs that don't even pertain to what I'm looking for pop up. Like the algorithm on Indeed is horrendous. Horrendous. And the thing is, with this shift, companies are starting to do like we should do. They're maximizing their income and they're lowering expenses. This is what we should be doing. Maximizing income, lower the expenses. But they do this. And how they do this is by cutting back. Full-time stable jobs with benefits are starting to become really rare, right? And instead of companies, fixing that or jobs fixing this, they're leaning more towards, they're leaning more towards of part-time roles, right? And temporary contracts. I hear people all the time go through a temp agency. A temp agency is temporary. Y'all do understand that. There's no guarantee that they're going to hire you in. You're a temp. They look at you as nothing damn near. Damn near. I'm just being honest, bro. Take it how you want it at this point, And the thing is, why they cut back is because they don't have to pay for no benefits. Most jobs don't even like going in a union because they know that their employees are protected. They don't have to pay for no retirement plan, no 401k, no insurance. Workers can go whenever they want them to. That's why most jobs hate unions, because they can't control. They can do so much. That's why when jobs get into a union, what they do is, versus you not having a union and they can just fire you whenever, they have to go by the book and bend the rules to try to get you gone. That's the difference, right? And then you got to think about it like this. Think about companies like Uber, DoorDash, Amazon Prime that deliver, right? These businesses rely on a workforce, right? And the workforce is of a independent contractor, which would probably be me or you, that has their own vehicle and just uses the app, right? Excuse me, I'm getting sick. But you're not technically an employee. Do you get the difference? So you don't have any protection when it comes to that part, right? Meanwhile, traditional jobs and traditional industries like retail, customer service are cutting back too, right? You got to think about it. When the last time you seen somebody pull their card out to pay for something? I ain't seen that in a while. You know what I see? Bing, right with the phone. And then this is going to follow into what I'm about to talk about. Self-checkout machines, you no longer need the person that's running the cash register. You don't need her. You don't need him no more. Because eventually what's going to happen is it's going to be just phones and you just self-checkout, just using your phone, paying for that. Everything going to be electronic. Y'all got to get with it or get lost. Online shopping is replacing store workers. I talked about that the other day, but I'm going to go more into depth of why I said this, right? Even office jobs aren't safe. Even where I used to work at, right? The job was so easy. It's just the people in there made it too hard and too difficult for what it had to be. All you had to do was press a button. This thing just wrapped itself, and all I would do is just load the truck or unload it. That's the easiest thing you could do. The problem was it was too much going on in the company that made it difficult. That was the problem. It was never the job. The job was never difficult. It's honestly probably the easiest thing that I've ever done besides what I did before, like in a studio. That was easy to me. Probably because it was second nature. I was already doing it at home, right? What I mean is, with all this AI stuff coming into play, like this automation stuff coming into play, all of this is going to turn into just dust pretty soon. And what I mean is people. You are no longer going to be in a job because they're already starting it. They're already starting AI automation. I talked about this. Even on Indeed, they don't got time for that. They don't got time to read over your resume. So they're just going to put a robot to do it and read over it. And like I said before, if they read over it and it's not matching up to par with what they want and the specifics that they're telling it they want to see, it's over with. You don't even stand a chance. Gatekeeping. There's a lot of gatekeeping hiring. Remember I talked about how there's this big issue with, like, say me, if I got to connect with somebody that's in the business already, more than likely I'm getting in. But let's say you, for example, are applying to the same job. You're not getting it. Why? Because you have no type of connection of getting in or putting your foot in the door. But I do. Connections and networking is the new thing. Now, like I said, I've been there to the point where I've spent so many hours tweaking a resume for no reason. Either I got ghosted or this stupid ass robot that I keep telling y'all about kicks your resume. That's why they send you that message on Indeed about going with other candidates. There's no way that you read my resume that fast. There isn't. There's no way. Especially when there's all this volume on the profile, right? Remember I talked about that? Mm. Mm. What's the other issue? Overqualifications. I know people, and there's somebody sitting behind the screen right now that probably got a degree. But you know that most jobs don't even like to pay you well with a degree. Most jobs, at most, will probably pay you. There's somebody sitting here with a degree and only getting paid $16 somewhere. For a fact, let me know if that's you. For a fact, I know it for a fact. Somebody got a degree, all this experience, years of experience. And they are either working a job that's paying that, or when you apply to jobs, they tell you overqualified. One of the two. Something that you could do probably with your eyes closed. They'll tell you that you're overqualified. And I know it. This combination of, fewer opportunities strict a person. You get me? There's this, I like to call it filters. You know how girls use filters? That's what it is for work. It's the same thing. Companies are lowball workers, but want you to do more work. It's the same perspective. It's the same thing, no matter how you put it. And even if you land a job, it's only half the battle. It's only half because the cost of living is rising faster than we know it. I know minimum for rent, and y'all let me know. For my people that live in bigger cities, let me know how much you pay for rent. But minimum, I'm giving it leeway. I'm going to say $1,500. But for most, it's about 2 bands, 2,000. But at minimum, I'll give it 1,500. We'll say that. Why is the cost of living rising and rising and rising, and none of the pay wage is keeping up with it? Why? Inflation happens, right? But it's not always about inflation. But this is part of the reason, because when the cost of goods and services go up over time, normally a little inflation happens, a little bit. But it's getting to a point where it's at an all-time high extreme inflation. Y'all let me know if it's not, but it is. Prices for everyday items like food, gas, all of this stuff is not keeping up. When have you ever seen Dollar Tree items not a dollar no more? I knew something was up then. Dollar Tree? Dollar Tree. Things in Dollar Tree are not even a dollar. And like I said before too, this dollar amount is starting to mean nothing. Eventually, all the people that was talking about me day trading, which I still do, and investing in the stocks, which I still do, eventually y'all gonna have to do it too. Not day trading, but I mean investing in stocks and crypto. Crypto is gonna be the new thing. That's why I tell y'all to be a long-term holder. Do not try to do that. Just buy it, hold it. Because that's what's gonna be the new thing. Donald Trump is already doing this. Elon Musk is already doing this. All of these people that are in quote unquote power are already investing in crypto. And if you don't, you're going to be behind. The newest thing is going to be AI. AI is going to be like Bitcoin. If you get in now and you invest in the stock now, you are going to be up. Why? Because all of these people in power and rich people are already investing into it. They know that we are transitioning into internet, AI. This is going to be the thing. I told y'all Jobs is already doing it. People who have online businesses is already doing it. It just takes away, it's taking a load off of them. It's just making things easier. You got to get in it. That's just what it is. Okay. Now, if you don't believe me that all of this is high, inflation is this and all that, during the pandemic, supply chains were disrupted. Right? Can we agree to disagree? All right. Factories shut down. All of these places were shut down. People couldn't even come outside, right? So what happens is everything slowed down. And in my opinion, and this is just me, I still think to this day, I don't think some of these companies and distributions was able to get back on their feet just yet. I feel like we opened up the world back up too early. I think that's what happened. Because now everything is just, if it wasn't already, everything was already high. But I feel like after all that happened, things just took a detrimental turn of just going, everything just turned. Everything. Y'all let me know, because maybe I'm tripping, right? But there was a lot of shortages on stuff. The prices kept rising. It wasn't like it stopped. Do you get what I'm saying? This housing price, I don't know, bro. There's a housing crisis, right? You see more and more people, even on social media, right, that live in a car, right? Or they're homeless, have nowhere to stay, in and out of shelters and stuff like that. Why is this? Why is this? Housing is a very, very, very massive issue. Massive. Rent is skyrocketing everywhere. Affordable housing, yeah, it's cool. But like I said, it's not going to be in a place that's, safe or anything like that. It's going to be in a place that's filled with a whole bunch of people that don't got nothing already. And that's what it is. That's why you see a lot of crime in these places, because don't nobody have anything. Just a bunch of people struggling. It's like the Hunger Games. You just put them to war in one circle. It's crazy. Driving up the prices because they know people need a place to live. That's really what it is. And in some cities, rent has increased by 20%. 20%. Now, that may not seem like a lot to y'all, but 20% in a year? That's crazy. I guarantee you, if you was to walk up to any Gen Z person or even millennials, how many of these people are renting versus home ownership? How many? I can almost guarantee that there are more people that own nothing, like a house, and they rent. Can almost guarantee it. Can almost guarantee it. Y'all let me know down in the comments. Student loans, student wages, and high down payments make it almost impossible for someone to even consider buying a house. For even y'all to consider that. The difference with putting a down payment on a house and putting a down payment for your first couple months of rent, I want to see the difference. Y'all let me know. I want to see the difference in that. Not only that, there's this corporate greed of things, right? Many companies are raising prices simply because they can. You don't own none of that. They could do it because it's theirs. Remember how I spoke about that? Remember how I talked about that? They can take advantage at any time. Why? Because they have the power to do that. You don't. That's just how the cookie crumble. Now, it really does impact people every day. I'm talking about when it comes down to the average person, right? Life has become a struggle for the average person. You work long hours, but your paycheck barely covers bills. And I'm going to talk about the system in a later video because it's not meant for you to win, actually. The system is not meant for you to win. But we're going to talk about that in a later video. Most people are working 2, 3 jobs just to make ends meet or be floating, much like I was. I worked 2, that paid for the bills, you know what I'm saying? That was cool and had a little money in my pocket. And then when I worked in the studio, all of that was just pocket money, for me to do whatever, whether it was to invest in my own thing like this, buy equipment and stuff like that. This is before I had my businesses running online, right? The other thing, this mental toll it takes on a person. I talk about this as well because this is a huge problem. Mentally, people are not strong. People really go through stuff, right? And when you add on constant financial stress, mental health that they're already dealing with, at home problems, when they already dealing with stuff and then you just add on, you can only imagine what that could do to somebody. It's hard to stay motivated or even feel like, no matter how hard you work, that eventually things will work out. It's hard to think like that when you already going through your own situation as an individual. It's hard to think like that. Very hard, right? It's almost like you got to live in survival mode all the time. All the time. This is why people are always downsizing and trying to cut back expenses, trying to alleviate the stress. That's why you see most people, they move in with family members because people are starting to use their head like, okay, if we come together, we could drop these bills down by like 50%. Everybody take 25% if it's 4 of us, and we just do that. People are starting to do that because they realizing that it just works out better. It just works out better. And it's not even a choice anymore. Like, people got to do this to even get ahead. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. I feel like wages need to be boosted. Rent need to come down a little bit so people can afford and have some type of cushion for themselves. How many of y'all got a savings? Not a lot of people. Most people got to dip into their savings just to stay afloat. I don't know. That was just something that was on my mind to talk about.